Hello and welcome back to Don't Press Play, the podcast where we press play so you don't have to. I'm your host Alex, and today we're going full spoiler mode on the long-awaited return of the Rage virus with 28 years later. Directed by Danny Boyle, the sequel has been 20 plus years in the making and it's already dividing audiences. Sitting at a 3.6 on Letterboxd and a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb, the buzz is real. But does it live up to the legacy of 28 days and 28 weeks later, or are we just infected with nostalgia? Board up the windows, double check your escape routes, and whatever you do, don't press play. Unless you're ready for spoilers. Now let's talk 28 years later.
Sit here. Sit.
Auntie, what's going on?
Jimmy, sit still, keep quiet, and do not move from this spot.
Seven, 6, 11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war. If your eyes drop, they will get the top of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Try to think of something different. Oh, my God, keep me from going lunatic. Boom, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. 7, 6, 11, 5, 4, 17, 32 the day before.
Okay, so let's set the scene. I've just finished watching 28 years later at the cinema. I'm obviously a huge fan of the original. It was the first episode that I covered on this podcast. And I was so nervous going into this film. I was really scared that it was going to be another requel, another Jamie Lee Curtis. Honestly, I promise you guys, I don't hate Jamie Lee Curtis. But I was really worried it was going to be a requel type thing. But however, this film has pleasantly surprised me. This film blew me away. Now, this film opens with a time jump back into like early 2000s, like living room that I grew up in, and there is a group of children all visibly upset watching the Teletubbies. Their mother rushes in and tells them not to turn around, to keep watching the TV. And then we hear the zombies break in. These kids are attacked, the parents are murdered, and young Jimmy has to run for his life after seeing his family get eaten by zombies and then turn into zombies. It's absolutely terrifying. I think it brilliantly set the tone for how this film was going to go, because it keeps that horrible tone throughout the entire film. We then meet our new characters in this film, which is a young boy called Spike, his father and his mother. His mother is played by Jodie Comer, who is fucking fantastic in this film. Honestly, guys, I can't recommend this film enough. Anyway, let's just keep on track, otherwise I'm going to spend the whole episode talking about Jodie Comer. So we meet Spike, and he lives on Holy Island, which is an island near Newcastle. And essentially, the premise of Holy Island is that when you're on the island, the tide comes in, you can't then leave the island or go back onto the island. Now, the funny thing was, I holiday in Northumberland pretty much annually, and I visited Holy Island a few times now. So when I was watching this film, I was like, hang on a minute. I've been there. I have been on that island, and I have, which was quite surreal because obviously I've been on Holly Island. So it kind of has this really weird personal connection with me now. So I think that kind of didn't help the fact that I found this film so fucking terrifying. So we meet our new characters. We're on Holy Island, and we have Spike, his father, who is like a scavenger and hunter, and his mother, Isla, who is, what we can gather, there's something wrong with her. She hasn't got the virus, but she's suffering from these headaches, and she's not very well. But it never really digresses into why she's unwell. And then we have Spike, who's preparing for this it's like tradition on the island where you go onto the mainland to hunt. So that is kind of the first premise of this film. So we go on this hunt with Jamie and Spike. We go across onto the mainland, and it's all very tense because the entire way we kind of assume that something bad's going to happen, and that obviously like all the dad's going to get bit or something like that. It's a brilliant part of the film because obviously we kind of see that dynamic between Spike and his father, and it really helps with this world building because you have to imagine the last two films we've seen have been completely set in our time, whereas the setting is in the future, but it's in the future, but not our future. It's a future of people that have been quarantined on an island and have not had anything from the outside world. So it's like medieval times for those guys. Like everything is built themselves. Like Spike's never even seen a cell phone before. So it's really great world building rather than just having it 28 years into the future and everything's the same, but they're quarantined. It's really, really focused on that. Like I said, it's like a medieval time for those guys, but it's not medieval times, if you know what I mean. But like there isn't a doctor and they have to go looking for a doctor. It's not like they can just go and see their GP, or if they need food and stuff, it's all grown because there's no help from the outside world. That is something, however, I do wish they digressed a little bit more into. I would have liked to known about the rest of the world. Because obviously at the end of 28 weeks later, they arrive and the zombies do reach Paris. But in this film, what I can gather is that it's just the UK that's quarantined and there's patrol boats outside, and the UK's essentially been left for dead and the rest of the world carried on. And it's just the UK that's been infected by this rage virus, which I really, really love. But I think I want to peep a little bit more into what the rest of the world is up to. But obviously there are 2 more films coming, so we've got quite a lot of time to unpack that. So I am glad they didn't give us too much. And like I said, these scenes where it's about building and understanding this community that's on Holy Island and this family dynamic works so well. And like you really do start feeling for the father and for Spike and that relationship, which is just done so well. So anyway, they start hunting zombies, and at one point there is a child zombie that he's going to shoot, which just sends shudders on your spine because there's not something that you're exposed to in these other films, and it's just world building that's done completely right. There isn't fan service going on here. It's quite world building with reason. So there's children zombies, and there's zombies that are on the floor eating bugs and stuff like that, and then there's ones that run. Like there's different species of zombies now, which leads on to the Alpha, who is a giant kind of bigger, smarter, mutated, infected strain of zombie. And he says that he won't be taken down by just an arrow, and they're harder to kill. And they do this thing where they rip the head out and it comes out with the spine. So it's this world building, which is, like they've gone completely fresh and new with this film in the sense that 28 weeks later, there wasn't obviously enough to have that world building, but it's good that they didn't just do another zombie film where, the zombies got onto Holy Island and then everyone died because of the infected. It's like, hang on, no, like, the time has passed and this is what's happened with this strain. It's mutated. It's built its own world. There's basically an entire ecosystem of zombies living on in the UK. So anyway, they go to they go back to the mainland, back to Holy Island, sorry, and they are attacked by the Alpha and a load of running zombies, and they have to take shelter in a cottage. And whilst the Spike is in there, he notices a fire in the distance, and the dad is quite on the point of like, oh, it's nothing, it's nothing, it's nothing. But obviously, Spike is like, hang on, I know something about that. So they manage to finally get back to Holy Island after being attacked by the Alpha. It's a very, very tense scene where the zombies are chasing them, and my heart was going so fast in the cinema. Like I've never had such a physical reaction from a horror film before, and I'm quite desensitized to a lot of stuff. But this film really put me through the ringer, and I think it's because I cared so much about these characters, and I had such like I don't know, because they had such a refuge and safety on the island, it was like I was just constantly like, just get back to the island. So anyway, the Alpha chases him, the Alpha is taken down, he gets back onto the island, and there's a party for Spike's return, and then Jamie cheats on his wife, and Spike sees this. So Spike takes it upon himself to ask around about this fire, and somebody lets slip that this fire was set by an old GP who is burning bodies, and everyone on Holy Island thinks this guy's completely crazy. So Issa starts to decline. There's a great scene where she starts asking for Nurofen, which is a type of paracetamol here in the UK. I don't know if it's like an American thing as well. But anyway, she starts asking for Nurofen, and Spike's like, I don't even know what that is. Which again is brilliant. Then it adds to that world building of like, these people are so far removed from what we perceive as the UK now. They're literally living in times where there isn't medication, whereas in the outside world there's literally smartphones, and there's like people going to space, and in the UK at that time there isn't even medicine. So it's that drawn out sense of time which is really crazy to me. So anyway, Spike decides to smuggle him and his mother off onto the mainland to find this doctor, hoping to cure his mum's headaches. And this is where the actual story begins. You watching the film, at first you think that the story is them going onto the mainland to get his first kill from the zombies. It's absolutely not. It completely withdraws you and then takes you on another adventure, which is absolutely like, it's fucking brilliant. So we go on to this new adventure onto the mainland, and then his mum starts to deteriorate more and more, and there's just, so many like near misses with zombies, and it's just so much fun. Like, it's not fun, but it is fun. And anyway, then we go onto this crazy scene where on their way they meet trying to grab a little drink. On the way they meet I think he's from Sweden, a Swedish soldier who has both got stranded, and they end up stuck with Isla and Spike, and they find this derailed train, which is obviously from 28 years ago, and they can hear a scream on this train, and then Isla has to run onto the train, and there we see a pregnant zombie give birth to a baby, and the baby isn't infected, and for some reason the zombie just lets Isla help her give birth. And it's that world building that's like, what the fuck is going on? Why are the zombies breeding? Why are they breeding normal babies? Why was the Alpha chasing them because it was a baby? Was it the Alpha's baby? Honestly. And then there is like this epic chase scene, and the world building. I can't stop thinking about how fucking fantastic the world building is. And Jodie Comer's character in this, the way she just acts like she's like a young child. And then she will come out of it, and then she'll be a mother, and then she will go back. And obviously, at first I thought she was struggling with like dementia or something, and I thought, well, if they can reach this doctor and find out what's wrong with her, maybe it'll be, some sort of dementia or things like that. My only concern, though, is why nobody told Spike before he left that even if you do reach the doctor, there isn't any medicine to help her. Like, even if she's got like a brain tumor, there's nothing you can do. There's no medicine on the island. So I do wish that somebody had this conversation with him before he ran away and left the island. But I digress. So, anyway, we finally meet this doctor who's played by Ralph. I can't remember his second name. Is it Filch? Ralph Fiennes, who played Voldemort Slay, and he's also going to be playing President Snow in the new Hunger Games film, so I'm very excited for that. Anyway, his character is absolutely phenomenal in this film. He is so good. He plays it's such a great written character because when we think of a zombie apocalypse film, we assume that everyone's going to be this like serious, like bow and arrow, guns, shooting, bang, bang, bang. But this guy is fucking crazy. And of course, why would you not be? Like, he used to be a GP and now he's living on his own. And basically, his whole thing is he's building a memorial for everybody that died in this outbreak. So he is burning bodies and collecting the skulls, and he builds kind of like a museum, like an art piece for the dead. And it's beautiful. As much as it's fucking weird, it's so beautiful. And he really helps Spike understand the concept of death in an apocalypse, where he is so used to people dying that it becomes nothing to them. And like the idea of hunting zombies and the idea of, not seeing these zombies, these infected, as people. And it really makes me think of kind of when there was a pandemic with COVID, and it makes me think of when people would die, and on the news at night there was like a death count on the TV at all times of how many people had died from COVID, and nobody seemed to see them as people. They were just seen as infected people, and people that were, had health implications and died, and they died because they were high risk. It really did make me think of that. And I think that's just like more power to the writers of how fleshed out this character is. He is kind of one of the only characters that sees death as something that's still so important and still such a crucial part of being human. I think that people forget how to be human, whereas he is seen as the crazy one because he is respecting the dead, and it's a bit crazy that he built an entire temple of dead people, but it's done so he can reflect and he can stay as human as possible. And, with Jodie Comer's character, when it is discovered that she does have cancer, he gives her a chance to die as humanely as possible. And, and then with that is able to show Spike how people grieve and how it is, appropriate to like have a funeral essentially. And I think it's kind of the first time in this franchise that we kind of really see death as a humane thing rather than, he's died, he's going to turn to a zombie, and then it becomes a plot point. It really is not about that. It's literally just about how the grieving process works and how to deal with dead people in an apocalypse or in a pandemic and stuff like that. So I absolutely love his character, and I think it's as quirky and as crazy as he might be, covered in orange iodine and stuff like that. His character is so beautiful and so well fleshed out, and I don't know, the way he is with Spike and how he goes about the themes of death, it's just so powerful. And yeah, it's like nothing I've ever even thought of from something I would never expect to be in a zombie movie. So absolutely such a beautiful plot point. So now I want to talk about the ending of this film, which in my personal opinion is the biggest letdown of the film. I think the tone was so perfect throughout the entire film. And, we have Spike on this heroic mission saying that he's not finished yet. He's left the baby Isla at the gates of the community, and he is left on his own, and he said he'll be back when he's ready. Spike is then ambushed by the infected, and all is going quite scary. The tone is still there. It's really setting up, this next scene. And then it really does lose me when it's the women in the blonde wigs and it's the little boy from the beginning, and he's like this zombie killing gangster, and they're all doing like flips and killing zombies in funny ways. I don't know if it's just me that doesn't understand that, but personally, I don't know. I think that to me, I don't know, guys. I really struggled to connect with that last scene. It was just a bit difficult for me to place that in my head of we've just had this really serious film. Well, not serious, there was comedic elements throughout, but I just think that last scene could have been not as, comedic. It could have been a bit more dramatic, in my opinion, and less, comedic with these like gangster grannies killing the infected in these like funny ways. I just think that is the only negative I have of this film is the ending. I think the ending could have been a lot better than what actually happened. But yeah. So wrapping this episode up, I'm going to give 28 Days Later a solid 9 out of 10. I think minus the ending, I think the film is fucking fantastic. The plot is so good. The story is so fresh. It's such a good take on a new film. It's not your average run-of-the-mill requel anymore. It's, it's really different. It's really new. It's really fresh. And it scared me. So yeah, absolutely. If you're on the fence about checking this film out, please, please, please go and check this film out. Absolutely fucking solid 9 out of 10, guys. So yeah, that's my review of 28 Years Later. If you like this review, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this film. Please give me a rating wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us a thumbs up. Give it a download. And just, thanks for checking me out. If you want to keep in contact, you can find me at the Don't Press Play Pod on Instagram, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is just Don't Press Play Pod on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.